The weeks that followed felt like a life Elena never thought she would be allowed to have. Peaceful mornings, soft laughter, a home that finally felt like a home. Damien no longer moved like a man carrying shadows. He touched her with purpose now. Slow, certain, protective. And every time their eyes met across a room, it felt like they were rediscovering each other all over again. They worked side by side at the company, an unshakable team. No one questioned her presence anymore. Elena had earned their respect with her intelligence, her calm, her precision. And Damien made sure the entire building understood who she was, not because she needed his name, but because he wanted her shielded, honored, seen. The twins adored both of them. Morning hugs, messy breakfasts, tiny footsteps running through polished floors. Every day Damien's office had become their unofficial playground. And he loved it, loved them, loved her. Life was good, too good. Tyler had recently returned to the city, thanks to a new branch his company opened only 10 minutes away from Damien's headquarters. He and Damien slipped easily back into their old friendship, filled with teasing, quiet loyalty, and the kind of bond men didn't need to explain. He came around often, sometimes for business, sometimes just to steal Damien's snacks and complain that he worked too hard. And Cassie, Elena's longtime friend, came to visit whenever her booming business allowed her to take a short vacation. She blended effortlessly into their home, the twins constantly glued to her hip, dragging her into pillow fights and tea parties. She was the kind of friend who filled every silence with warmth, the kind who could read Elena with one glance. "Yes, this is the life you deserve," Cassie told her one evening as they watched the twins chase each other through the garden. "Real love, real stability, real joy." Elena smiled genuinely. "Sometimes I'm scared it's too perfect." Cassie nudged her with her shoulder. "Don't think like that. Enjoy what you've been given." But the strange twist in Elena's stomach, something that felt like instinct, like memory, didn't disappear. And far away, in a place untouched by their happiness, someone else felt it too. Someone who once owned her fear. Someone who had returned. Someone who wanted what was never his to begin with. Their perfect life was beautiful, but it would not last. In a different location, the room was dark, silent except for the soft clicking sound as a man flipped through photographs illuminated by a single lamp. His jaw was tight, his eyes sharp, cold, predatory, followed every image with a hunger that shouldn't exist in a human being. Elena laughing. Elena holding her twins. Elena walking beside Damien. Elena smiling up at another man. That last one made his fingers curl around the picture until it almost tore. He had been there the day Damien held that press conference, the one that went viral everywhere. Damien standing on stage, voice steady and public, declaring his love, declaring Elena his wife, declaring the twins his children. He watched it all. And in that single moment, the obsession he once had for her, the grip he had over her years ago, snapped awake inside him like a beast freed from a cage. He had found her. Finally. He couldn't believe it at first. Elena, beautiful, grown, a mother, standing beside another man, powerful man, a man who loved her, the man she chose after escaping him. His chest burned at the memory, his teeth clenched, his mind spiraled. No. She wasn't supposed to be anyone's. She wasn't supposed to move on. She wasn't supposed to forget him. She was supposed to stay broken, dependent, obedient. He traced her image with his thumb, the way a collector would touch an object he believed belonged to him. "You shouldn't be with him," he whispered into the darkness. "You were mine. You're still mine." That day, after seeing the press conference, he started tracking her movements, gathering photos, memorizing her schedule, paying people to follow her, watching her happiness with a hatred that grew deeper each hour. He didn't like that Damien touched her, didn't like that Damien slept beside her, didn't like that she smiled for another man, didn't like that she carried another man's children. No, he hated it, and he would fix it. He would take her back, break whatever peace she had built, destroy the man she dared to replace him with. Because if he couldn't have her, no one could. He slipped one of her photos into his pocket, smoothed his suit, and stepped out of the darkness. It was time. Elena didn't expect anything unusual that afternoon. She and Cassie had taken the twins out for ice cream, their laughter soft and sticky in the air as they raced toward the fountain outside the mall. The sky was clear. The day was calm. Nothing, absolutely nothing, hinted at danger. Until she felt it. Presence. A shift in the air. A familiar coldness crawling up her spine like fingers she remembered too well. She turned, and her heart stopped. He stood only a few meters away, dressed in a black suit that matched the darkness in his eyes. Colder, harder, sharper than she remembered. His face had lost all the softness he once used to lure her in. Now he looked like a man carved from stone and secrets. Someone who had climbed through the underworld and come out more dangerous than the people who lived there. More powerful, more calculated, more capable of destruction. And those eyes, only obsession lived in them. Her ex, the nightmare she had buried. The man who used to control her every breath. The man she thought she had escaped forever. He approached slowly, like a predator enjoying the way she froze. "You look beautiful, Elena." His voice was soft, low, poisonous. "I missed what was mine." Her chest tightened. She couldn't breathe, couldn't speak. The world blurred around the edges, her pulse hammering in her ears. Memories she never wanted to relive flickered behind her eyes. His cruelty, his manipulation, his voice cutting into her self-worth until she believed she was nothing. Cassie saw it instantly. "Elena?" She stepped closer, her eyes narrowing at the man. "Who is?" But Elena's trembling hands said everything. Cassie grabbed her arm, protective, pulling her subtly behind her. "Hey, talk to me. Are you okay?" She wasn't. She was terrified. Not because she doubted Damien. Not because of insecurity. But because this man, this monster, had once owned her fear so completely that a single glance from him could still paralyze her. And he was different now. More dangerous. Connected. Rumor had it he had ties to people who made problems disappear. People who owed him favors. People with blood on their hands. "Elena," he murmured again, stepping 1 inch closer. "Don't run. It's rude." Cassie snapped, voice sharp as glass. "Back up." He smirked, eyes never leaving Elena. "You haven't changed. Still hiding behind people." Elena pulled the twins close, her hands shaking uncontrollably. This wasn't insecurity. This wasn't doubt. This was trauma resurfacing with ferocity she wasn't prepared for. Because the man she once escaped wasn't just back. He wanted her. He wanted her life. And he was willing to destroy everything, Damien included, to get it. Night draped the city in a quiet darkness, broken only by the soft hum of the streetlights outside. In a shadowed, hidden room, a man waited, his face tight with anticipation. Jackson, Elena's ex-cold. Calculated. Dangerous. He watched as the man across from him, the uncle who had haunted Damien's life, shifted uneasily in his chair. Jackson's voice broke, the silence low and measured. "I know what you want," he began, sliding a sleek envelope across the table. "Freedom, a chance to disappear, to vanish without the weight of your past dragging you down." The uncle's eyes narrowed. "And why would I listen to you?" Jackson smiled faintly, almost like a predator. "Because I can give you exactly that. I can get you out of that cell. I can forge you a new identity. A life no one can trace. A clean slate." He paused, letting the offer hang. "All I ask is one thing in return." The uncle leaned forward, curiosity piqued despite himself. "And that is?" Jackson's eyes sharpened, his tone deliberate. "Damien Cole, Elena, their world, their family. I want them broken." The uncle's brow furrowed, suspicion flickering. "You want me to?" "I don't want Elena dead," Jackson said swiftly, shaking his head. "I want her shaken, terrified, controlled, dependent, obedient. I want her to come back to me, because she'll have no choice left. But I won't stop at Damien if he stands in my way. If I need to remove him, or even the twins, to reach my goal, I will." Their lives, their company, their empire. Every part of it is part of the plan. The uncle's mouth twitched, caught between disbelief and the lure of opportunity. And what do I get from this? Jackson leaned in, eyes glittering. You get a way out. After Damien and Elena are separated. After I've reshaped their lives, you walk away. Millions will be waiting for you, enough to start fresh. New identity, new life. You won't have to look back. And you'll have influence over, well, let's just say the pieces of their world we leave behind will crumble. And you won't be part of it, except as the beneficiary of your freedom and wealth. The uncle exhaled, weighing the offer. He had spent years trapped, his schemes stifled by Damien's rise. Now, someone with real power, resources, and obsession for Elena was giving him exactly what he needed. A chance to vanish, and a partner who could manipulate the people who had always humiliated him. Walk me through it, the uncle finally said, his voice low and calculating. Jackson smirked. I've already arranged the guard you bribed long ago. The transfer documents are forged. The escape will be clean. After that, I take care of Damien and Elena step by step. The chaos, the fear, the separation. It will be perfect. And when it's over, you take the envelope. Millions. Identity. A new life. No loose ends. No one left to hunt you. The uncle's eyes glittered with anticipation. A predatory hunger returning. And Elena? She comes back to me, Jackson said simply. But only after her world falls apart. Only after Damien realizes how fragile everything is without her. I won't kill her yet, but I will break her. That's the guarantee. The uncle nodded slowly, decision made. Then we do it. Together. Jackson extended his hand. A cold, calculated smile on his lips. Welcome back to the game. Outside, the city slept, oblivious. Plans had been set. Allies were in motion. And in the shadows, a new storm was brewing. A storm that would shake Elena's life to its core, destroy Damien's sense of control, and challenge everything they had built together. Damien and Elena had been planning it quietly. A small, sweet escape. A follow-up honeymoon, they called it. But in truth, they just wanted a weekend to themselves. Between the company, the twins, the chaos, and the constant media attention after the press conference, they longed for 2 days where they could wake up in each other's arms without responsibility knocking on the door. Cassie was the perfect opportunity. She had watched the twins before, during their real honeymoon, and did it beautifully. The kids adored her. She understood their moods, their routines, their little personalities. She didn't just take care of them. She made them laugh. So when Elena asked if she could stay with them for the weekend until Monday morning, Cassie didn't just accept. She was thrilled. Damien, being protective, decided to call Tyler as well. Tyler had recently moved closer, thanks to a new branch of his company opening in the same city. But during the honeymoon months ago, he wasn't around. So Cassie had handled everything alone back then. This time, Damien said, just go check in on them. I trust you more than I trust half the trained guards in this estate. Tyler laughed and agreed. He said it wasn't a problem. But he didn't expect to open the door and see Cassie. And Cassie, although she had been told a friend of Damien's might stop by, didn't expect him to look like that. There was a moment, quiet pause, a soft, startled inhale from Cassie, a blink from Tyler, the kind of moment where nothing was said, but everything was felt. Cassie was bouncing the twins gently on her hip when Tyler entered, and he froze, not in shock but in appreciation. Cassie smiled, warm and natural, and said, "You must be Tyler. Damien talks about you all the time." Tyler cleared his throat, suddenly aware of how good she smelled, how her laughter filled the room like sunlight. "Yeah, I'm Tyler. And you're Cassie." She offered her hand. Elena's best friend. He took it and something lingered. The twins giggled, tugging at Cassie's hair, and she handled them effortlessly, calm, patient, loving. Tyler's heart softened in a way he didn't expect. By the end of the evening, he was helping with bedtime stories, fixing a toy car, and exchanging glances with Cassie he didn't fully understand yet, but didn't want to stop. A quiet connection had formed, soft and unspoken. But while warmth blossomed inside that house, coldness was plotting outside it. Miles away, Jackson and Damien's uncle were meeting again, faces half hidden in shadows, intentions darker than ever. Jackson wasn't rushing. He wanted precision. He wanted Elena to break, not with violence but with betrayal, a pain that would cut deeper than any weapon. He spread documents across the table. Photos, medical reports, fake bank logs, a woman's profile, digital tools, phone hacking codes. He looked at the uncle. "We're not just going to shake Damien," Jackson murmured, eyes sharp with obsession. "We're going to shatter him. We're going to make Elena believe he betrayed her in the one way she'll never forgive." The uncle nodded slowly, watching the materials. Jackson continued, "We'll build cheating evidence so perfect. Even Damien himself would doubt it for a second. They hired the woman first. Beautiful, convincing, willing to lie about a pregnancy for the right price. Her job was simple. Be seen with Damien in public places, smile at him at the right moment, stand close enough that cameras could lie." Jackson's men followed Damien on random afternoons, meetings, business stops, coffee runs, snapping photos from angles that suggested intimacy. A touch, a smile, a passing glance. Then came the edited videos. They took footage of Damien entering a hotel for a meeting, then edited it seamlessly to make it appear he entered with the woman and stayed for hours. Damien never did, but the world would believe otherwise. Next were the medical files, fake pregnancy labs, sonogram papers, appointment slips printed with hospital logos, all forged with professional mafia precision. A doctor on Jackson's payroll was ready to swear everything was real. The phone hacking came next. Damien's call logs were altered, new late-night calls added, deleted numbers restored, messages created from thin air. It would look like Damien had been hiding conversations for weeks. Finally, bank transfers were generated. On paper, and only on paper, it appeared Damien was secretly sending the woman money. Amounts small enough to feel realistic, but large enough to raise suspicion. The uncle exhaled slowly, impressed. "No one will be able to disprove this." Jackson smiled darkly. "That's the point. Elena will never see Damien the same way again." And in that moment, their trap wasn't just set. It was perfect, deadly, flawless. A lie powerful enough to destroy everything Damien and Elena had rebuilt. A lie waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Damien and Elena returned from their weekend getaway glowing and refreshed. Their short trip, what they jokingly called their honeymoon follow-up, left them lighter, softer with each other. Cassie and Tyler had done an excellent job handling the twins. And though neither of them said it aloud, both Damien and Elena had caught the subtle glances, the easy chemistry, the quiet sparks passing between Tyler and Cassie as they stood together when the couple returned. It was nothing obvious, just a charged heartbeat of eye contact, a small smile, a shift in energy, but enough for Elena and Damien to exchange a knowing look. Cassie left for her place not long after, still cheerful, promising to come by again soon. Tyler also headed back to his apartment, and though he acted like everything was normal, there was a different light in his eyes that hadn't been there before the weekend. The twins were ecstatic to have their parents home, running into their arms the moment they returned from school. After settling in, Damien and Elena freshened up and stopped by the company to catch up after the short trip. The following week turned out to be far busier than expected. Because of their short break, a backlog of work had piled up, and both of them needed to clear it. Elena managed to return home earlier in the evenings after handling her responsibilities, but Damien wasn't so lucky. He had a complex deal to finalize, combined with several projects that demanded his attention. For days, he worked late into the night, often arriving home after Elena had already fallen asleep. Sometimes he slipped into bed quietly around 1 a.m., other times closer to 3 a.m. The long hours stretched into a full week and then more, and although Elena understood, the distance created by his absence didn't go unnoticed. It was during those long work nights, when Damien attended late meetings, visited certain clients, and moved between locations, that the perfect window opened for someone to twist reality against him. One particular evening, he had gone to speak with a client about finalizing part of the deal. The meeting took place in a public lounge attached to a hotel. Nothing unusual, nothing suspicious. People moved in and out freely. Perfect place for a photo. A perfect excuse for a fabricated story. A perfect opportunity for someone with malicious intent to capture a moment and manipulate it into something unrecognizable. And that was exactly what happened. The ex's plan had already been set in motion. In the middle of the second week, when Elena came home earlier than usual, a small parcel and a plain envelope were waiting on the console table in the foyer. She didn't think much of it at first. Mail arrived all the time. But the moment she opened the envelope, her breath stilled. Inside was a flash drive and a printed photograph. The picture was of Damien with a woman. It looked like he was helping her walk into a hotel elevator. But the angle, the lighting, even the grain of the image made it impossible for Elena to determine what was real and what wasn't. She frowned, confused, and inserted the flash drive into her laptop. The video hit her like a bullet. It showed Damien with the same woman, entering a hallway. It was clearly edited. Elena didn't know how to describe it, but something felt off, even as her stomach twisted. Still, the implication was impossible to ignore. A few seconds later, another file opened, and she saw a scanned pregnancy test result with Damien's name attached as the potential father. A forged result, but it looked disturbingly real. Her heartbeat hammered unsteadily as more files opened. Photos of the woman supposedly texting Damien, screenshots of bank transfers from Damien's account to hers, and even a printed location ping showing his phone at that same hotel on a night he had come home late because of work. Everything connected too perfectly, too neatly, and too devastatingly. But Damien knew nothing. Not about the forged messages, the fake receipts, the altered videos, or the false medical records. He had no idea that someone had orchestrated an entire scandal around him. No idea that Elena had just been struck with a tidal wave of carefully crafted lies designed to shatter everything between them. And no idea that the trap was working exactly as intended. Elena barely slept that night. The forged documents, the doctored video, the fake pregnancy test result. Everything kept replaying behind her eyelids, overlapping with Damien's tired smile every morning when he kissed her forehead before leaving for work again. She lay awake in the dark, clutching the sheets, torn between reason and the crushing ache in her chest. Damien had always been honest with her, transparent, deeply loyal, but the evidence she had just seen was so flawlessly arranged, so meticulously detailed, that even she didn't know where to anchor her certainty. The next evening, Damien texted her that he would be late again. He was stuck in a meeting, the backlog still drowning him. She stared at the message, her stomach twisting. It was the exact gap of time the location ping claimed he spent at the hotel. The exact kind of night the fake transfers implied. Everything lined up in a way that made her head spin. She went downstairs to breathe and found another envelope. This one wasn't on the console like before. It was slipped halfway under the front door. She froze. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. The handwriting on the front made her blood turn cold. It was him. She opened the envelope, and a single sheet of paper slid out along with a small voice recorder. Her heart raced painfully as she pressed play. His voice filled the room instantly, smooth, twisted, familiar in a way that made her skin crawl. "Elena," Damien moved on. "You've been blind to it," he whispered, as if he were standing right behind her. "He's been cheating. You deserve better than being someone's second choice. Come back to me, Elena. I still love you. I can take care of you the way he clearly won't." Her jaw clenched. Her fingers tightened around the recorder so hard she almost snapped it in half. She wasn't reacting because of insecurity. Damien had never given her a reason to doubt him. But this man, her ex, he had been the worst mistake of her life. Manipulative, controlling, abusive in subtle, insidious ways. He had broken her down once, convinced her that she wasn't enough, twisted truth into whatever he wanted it to be. She had fought for years to free herself from his shadow, and now he was back. Her breaths came sharp and shaky. The message played again in her mind. Damien moved on. He's been cheating. Come back to me. Her chest tightened painfully. The forged evidence. The timing. Damien's late nights. The hotel. The woman. The money. The pregnancy result. It all looked so real. Too real. And now this voice. This man who specialized in breaking her. He knew exactly where her deepest wound was. The fear of choosing wrong again. The terror of repeating her past. She dropped onto the sofa, shaking, pressing her palms to her face as tears streamed helplessly. What if he's right? She whispered to herself. What if I trusted the wrong man again? What if I'm making the same mistake twice? Her mind was not betraying Damien, her trauma was betraying her. The door opened softly. Damien walked in, exhausted, loosening his tie, oblivious to the storm waiting for him. Elena? Baby, are you still awake? He called gently. She flinched at the sound of his voice. Damien paused when he saw her. The glassy eyes, the trembling hands, the envelope on the table. Elena, what happened? He asked, stepping forward. But she couldn't speak, couldn't breathe, couldn't even look at him without seeing the forged lies. Without hearing her ex's voice telling her she was being played again. For the first time since they became a family, Elena didn't know whether to reach for Damien or pull away. Damien barely had time to process the way Elena's face collapsed before she stumbled backward a step, her shaking hand dropping a small device onto the floor. A thin, sleek recorder, one he didn't recognize. It hit the tiles with a dull clink. Elena! His voice broke as he reached for her. What happened? Talk to me. What did you hear? But she looked at him as if the world beneath her feet had cracked open again. The kind of look that stabbed straight into his chest. Before he could touch her, Cassie rushed in, having come by earlier to drop off some things she bought for the twins. She saw Elena's trembling immediately and hurried toward her. Elena, hey, look at me, Cassie whispered, cradling her face. What's wrong? Elena couldn't speak. Her whole body shook violently, and when Damien tried to pick up the recorder, she flinched so hard Cassie's arms tightened around her instantly. Damien, Cassie murmured. Give her a minute. He didn't argue. He only stepped closer, defeated and terrified. A knock sounded at the open doorway. Tyler. He had planned to stop by with documents they needed to review for a business deal. Documents Damien had asked him to bring because he'd been working late the entire week to clear his backlog from their trip. It was normal, innocent, perfectly timed, too perfectly. Tyler froze when he saw Elena crying. What happened? He asked, his tone sharpening. Damien exhaled shakily. I don't know. She was fine 1 minute and then she got this. He held up the recorder carefully. Tyler frowned. Where did it come from? Damien shook his head. It was inside a small envelope on the table. I didn't even see who delivered it. Tyler picked up the envelope beside it, not reading anything, just inspecting. Then he brought the recorder closer to the light. Damn, this is military grade, he muttered. One-play technology. Once the message is heard, it wipes itself. Whoever left this didn't want anything traceable. Damien's heartbeat pounded painfully. So only Elena knows what was on it. Tyler nodded grimly. Yes. Cassie gently helped Elena to her feet. Come with me, she whispered. Let's go to the guest room. Elena didn't resist. She let Cassie guide her down the hall, her knees weak, her eyes dazed. Damien tried to follow, but Elena recoiled, tightening her hold on Cassie's arm. The rejection stabbed him deeper than anything else could have. Cassie gave him a soft, apologetic look. Let me calm her first. He nodded helplessly. Once the door closed behind them, Cassie sat Elena on the bed and knelt in front of her. Elena covered her face with both hands, breathing like she was drowning. Elena, please, Cassie whispered, rubbing her arms. Tell me what you heard. Elena slowly lowered her hands. Her eyes were red, devastated. Cassie, he cheated. Her voice cracked. Damien, he did something. And I saw it. I saw everything. Cassie stiffened. What? Elena reached shakily for her phone and pulled out the printed pages she had hidden inside her coat pocket. Proof. Photos, screenshots, a forged test result, fake hotel records. She handed them to Cassie with a trembling hand. Cassie gasped softly. Elena! Oh my God! I can't do this! Elena whispered, tears rolling again. I survived this once. I survived being lied to and tricked and controlled. I cannot. She broke again. Cassie, I can't go through it a second time. I can't be that stupid again. Elena? Cassie whispered, her heart breaking for her. I'm scared. Elena confessed, voice trembling violently. I'm scared he'll trap me here. I'm scared if he knows I know, he'll get angry or try to explain or twist it. I'm scared of choosing wrong again. I'm scared that the father of my children. She choked on the words. That he lied. That he betrayed me. Cassie shook her head. Elena, listen to me. These could be fake. Jackson. No. Elena whispered harshly. Cassie. The proof is too perfect. She pressed a hand to her chest. I'm not saying Damien is a bad man. I'm saying, I'm terrified my judgment is. What if Jackson is right? What if Damien has been cheating for weeks while working late? What if I'm repeating the same mistake? Elena. You have to give him a chance to explain. I can't, she said immediately. I'm not strong enough. I can't confront him. I can't let him know I know. I need time. I need space. And if I decide to leave... Her voice broke again. I want to leave with my children quietly. Cassie swallowed hard. Okay. Just breathe. I'm here. That night, Elena moved quietly around the bedroom, her movements slow, distant, almost careful, as if any wrong step might shatter her completely. Damien watched her from the doorway, frowning. She hadn't spoken much since they returned home. No teasing smile, no gentle touch, just silence wrapped around her like armor. Elena? He said softly, stepping closer. Are you okay? She didn't meet his eyes. I'm fine, she murmured, sitting on the edge of the bed and rubbing her palms together. I just don't feel well. It was a lie, an easy one, and it slid out too smoothly. But she couldn't tell him what she'd heard. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Because if it was true, then everything between them was already broken. You've been off all evening. Damien crouched in front of her, trying to see her face. Let me take you to the hospital tomorrow. First thing. No, Elena replied quickly, a little too firmly. No, I don't want to go. She drew in a shaky breath. Just go to the office. You have a lot to do. I'll give you feedback after. Damien straightened slowly, confusion tightening his features. Elena, what's going on? Nothing? She lied again, forcing a soft smile that didn't reach her eyes. I promise. I'm just tired. I need rest. He wanted to push, to insist, but something in her expression, something shut tight and unreachable, made him hesitate. If he pressed too hard, she might pull away even more. All right, he said quietly, but I'm checking on you during the day. She nodded, the movement small. Okay. He kissed her forehead, but she didn't lean into him the way she usually did. She lay stiff beside him that night, her back to his chest, pretending to sleep long before he finally drifted off. But Elena didn't sleep at all. She stared at the dark ceiling, tears burning her eyes, her mind replaying the woman's voice from the video over and over. Pregnant. He got me pregnant. He denied me. Every word had been a blade. By dawn, she had already made up her mind. She wasn't going to any hospital. She was leaving. Before Damien woke up, she slipped out of bed and into the hallway, her hands trembling as she texted Cassie. Can I come to your house today? With the kids? Please don't tell Tyler or Damien. They must not know where you live. Cassie called immediately, whispering, Elena, what's going on? I can't explain, Elena said, voice breaking. I need to leave. Tomorrow. Elena. Please, Cassie. Just help me. Cassie hesitated for a breath, then sighed. Okay. I'll help you, I promise. Elena nodded even though Cassie couldn't see her. She went back into the room and looked at Damien one last time. Peaceful. Unaware. trusting her completely. Her heart cracked. "Goodbye," she whispered. After the call, Cassie immediately dialed a number she'd saved after their weekend together. Tyler answered almost immediately. "Cassie." His tone warmed without him meaning to. "Everything okay?" "No," she whispered urgently. "Can we meet tomorrow? At a coffee shop?" He heard the fear in her voice. "Tell me when and where. I'll be there." The next day, they met at a quiet cafe away from the city. Tyler could tell instantly that something was wrong. "Tell me," he said quietly. Cassie took a deep breath and told him everything. Every detail of what Elena saw, the forged evidence, the one-time use recorder, Elena's complete breakdown. Tyler listened without interrupting, jaw tightening more with every sentence. "I knew something was off," he muttered. "Damien would never cheat on her. Never." Cassie's eyes softened. "Tyler, please, help me fix this. Elena is not thinking straight. She's scared, traumatized. She can't even consider the possibility that this is fabricated." He nodded once, firmly. "I'll look into it, all of it, and I'll prove Damien's innocent." Cassie's relief was immediate. "Thank you." Tyler looked at her, and that subtle, magnetic tension from before returned, grounding itself quietly between them. "But Cassie," he added softly, "until we know the truth, don't let Elena make any big decisions." "I won't," she swallowed as she said it. She can't tell any of them what Elena planned to do. Neither of them noticed the quiet figure watching them from a distance, Jackson's hired eyes, already reporting back. And back at home, Damien still had no idea his entire world had already begun to fall apart. Damien kissed her forehead that morning before leaving for work, completely unaware that Elena had barely slept, that her chest was tight with silent panic, that she spent most of the night sitting on the bathroom floor shaking. He murmured something soft about coming home early, brushed the hair from her face, and walked out the door with his usual warmth. The moment she heard the front door shut, Elena exhaled a trembling breath she had been holding all night. As soon as Damien's car disappeared down the driveway, Elena stood up, wiped her face, and forced herself into motion. She needed to move quickly before the staff started their day, and before anyone had the chance to notice anything unusual. By 7:15 a.m., the employees began to arrive. Elena met them in the kitchen with a small, calm smile, one she had practiced in the mirror. "Good morning, ma'am." "Good morning," she replied softly. When they gathered to receive the day's tasks, she raised a hand gently. "You've all worked very hard this week," she said kindly. "I think everyone deserves a break. Please take the day off. Spend it with your families." Some of them blinked in confusion. One tried to protest. "But ma'am, Mr. Damien." "It's fine," she said, keeping her voice even. "Damien left early. I just want a quiet day with the twins. Take today. You've earned it." It sounded believable, thoughtful, harmless. And once they were gone, Elena locked the door behind them, her breath shaking as the house fell silent. This time truly alone. And dismissing them ensured one thing: no staff would see her leave. No one would report anything to Damien. When the house was finally empty, she locked the door behind the last staff member. And the moment the latch clicked, her breath trembled. It was time. She walked to the study, Damien's study, and placed a small manila folder on the center of his desk. Inside were printed screenshots of the hallway footage, photos of him edited beside the other woman, a copy of the forged hotel video, and a USB containing the video of the woman claiming she was pregnant for Damien. Elena didn't leave a letter. No explanation. No words. Just the truth as she saw it. The truth that destroyed her. If Damien wanted to know why she left, it was right there. She walked through the house slowly, touching the sofa where the twins took their first steps, the hallway where Damien kissed her breathless, the kitchen counter where he once held her from behind. Her throat tightened painfully. She tried to swallow it down. She failed. She whispered a quiet, shaky goodbye to the home she thought would be forever. Then she went to her children, lifted them gently from their beds, kissed their warm cheeks, and carried them to the waiting car. Cassie stepped out immediately, helping her secure the twins in their seats. She didn't ask if Elena was sure. She could see it in her eyes. This wasn't doubt, this wasn't impulse. This was devastation. "Are you ready?" Cassie whispered. Elena nodded, but her hands were trembling so hard they barely looked like they belonged to her. The moment she closed the SUV door, her heart cracked again. Cassie drove. Elena never looked back. Not once. Damien came home that night past midnight, exhausted, stressed, still drowning in work. He loosened his tie, already imagining the quiet comfort of Elena in bed, the soft warmth of the twins' toys on the floor. But the house felt too still, too neat, too empty. "Elena?" he called softly. No answer. He walked into their room and his world stopped. Empty drawers, missing clothes, no toys, no baby blankets, no Elena. He froze. His heart dropped so violently it hurt. On the nightstand, something caught his eye, a small folder. He picked it up, confused, opening it, and his entire body went cold. The footage, the edited photos, the forged hotel video, and the pregnancy woman's recording. Everything that had been sent to Elena. Everything she believed. "No," Damien whispered, his chest collapsing inward. "Baby, no. This isn't real. This isn't." His voice cracked. He stumbled back, gripping the edge of the desk like he couldn't breathe. "Elena. Elena, please," he called her. Voicemail. He texted. Undelivered. She was gone. With the children. With her heart. With every piece of him. He sank to the floor, shaking so badly he could barely hold the phone. His vision blurred as tears fell. Silent, brutal, uncontrollable. Then his phone buzzed. A new message. Unknown number. A video file. He opened it. The same woman. Smiling coldly. Saying, "Tell her the truth, Damien. Or maybe don't. It's more fun this way." The realization hit him like a blade. This is why Elena left. This is what they used to destroy her. This is what they used to destroy them. Damien's breath shattered. And for the first time in his life, Damien Cole broke. Completely. In another part of the city, Elena told the twins that they would be spending their midterm break at Aunt Cassie's place. It was only meant to be a few days. A quiet escape. A small pocket of normalcy after the storm they had endured. The children had barely settled in, laughing and chasing each other through Cassie's living room, when Elena felt it again. A wave of dizziness that made her knees weak and her vision blur. She rested a hand on the back of the sofa, trying to steady herself, but the feeling only grew stronger. "I think I need to get something for this," she murmured to Cassie, her voice low and hesitant. "Just a quick trip to the pharmacy." Cassie, concerned but supportive, nodded immediately. "Of course, I'll go with you." They arrived at the pharmacy a short drive later. Elena moved slowly, gripping her purse tightly, her steps uneven. The fluorescent lights overhead seemed to hum, and a heaviness pressed in on her chest. As she reached the counter, her knees nearly buckled. She caught herself just in time, her hand shaking violently. "Careful, dear," a gentle, reassuring voice said. An older woman, a midwife Cassie recognized from her previous visits, stepped forward and caught Elena's arm. Her eyes were sharp and warm, radiating a practiced care that immediately put Elena on edge yet oddly reassured her. "My dear, are you okay?" the woman asked softly. "You're showing early pregnancy signs." Elena froze. Her chest tightened. She could barely breathe. Cassie, standing close behind, instinctively reached out but stopped herself, seeing the way Elena's hand rose slowly to her stomach. Elena's eyes widened as she pressed a trembling hand to her abdomen, her mind spinning with disbelief and the quiet stirrings of something delicate and powerful. Her body felt heavy, her heart racing in tandem with her shock. Everything around her, the lights, the faint hum of the pharmacy, the soft murmur of other customers, seemed to fade, narrowing to that one impossible moment. She let her hand linger over her stomach, the tremor in her fingers betraying both fear and awe. Cassie's eyes stayed fixed on her, frozen in silent concern, unsure of what to say. Elena's lips parted slightly, a whisper forming, But no words came. She simply pressed her palm closer to her abdomen, her eyes wide, the enormity of the moment settling in. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your thoughts mean a lot to me. And trust me, the next story will be even better. You won't want to miss it. Turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know.